Howdy. Let's finish up our talk on privacy, video 3. He talks about Asian laws. As I said, Singapore has just passed GDPR. Again, I'm not spending time on these laws because anytime they would be applicable, you need to get at that day. What is the law at that day? But it is interesting to see the different cultures and the different approaches to privacy. So we're going to move on to talk about privacy enhancing technologies. What he says here is security and privacy. Without information security, you cannot have privacy. I agree. And they're not synonymous. Sometimes people think if you have privacy, well, there's two separate concepts. Let's leave it at that. To have privacy, you must have information security. But you can have information security and still have some privacy problems, right? So information security is an enabler and a mechanism, but don't confuse the two concepts. So what you see now is this privacy enhancing technology. And it's basically, he talks a lot about encryption. Encryption's great, obviously. I'm a policy and procedures person. A lot of good policy or privacy compliance depends on having written private policies, understanding impacts and assessments. Too many times if you implement software and somebody thinks, okay, I've got it covered. No, there's always this manual and analytical step you must go through to actually lay out what your policies are going to be. Many of these are direct outcomes of legal statutes, so you have to incorporate them into policies, procedures for employees, but then you have to educate, train, make them aware of it, and constantly monitor that it's being compliant. Privacy impact assessments are written documents. It's a structured approach to determining the gap between the privacy performance and the actual privacy performance, or the as-is versus the to-be. Or the as-is versus the should-be. And basically, how is the PII handled through business processes? And we're talking, again, womb to tomb, from creation through transmission, processing, analysis, and through that last important stage of destruction. Have the records been properly destroyed as necessary? Okay, so he lays out a procedure here. Great. We're going to establish the scope, identify key stakeholders, good analytical cookbook method here. You will do a privacy impact assessment. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to go find the NIST standard. You are going to follow the NIST standard, and you are going to make sure that the PIA is in writing. Okay? And when I say in writing, this is not the time to try your fiction writing skills. Short, concise, do this type sentences. Okay? And of course, what complements the whole access discussion on privacy is the web and the use of cookies. And you see a complete misunderstanding of what this means. So many people think computers are magic kind of thing. And under GDPR, for instance, even to put cookies on your machine, you have to explicitly give consent. So the important thing I want you to take away from this talk is, how do you put privacy in practice? How do you make it part of your culture? Yes, we talk about laws. Yes, we talk about ethics. The end of the day, where the rubber meets the road, you have to be cognizant of this in every aspect of your business. There is something called the NIST NICE framework. If you're interested, you should be if you're going to work in cybersecurity. It lays out something like 53 work roles with 7 major categories of cybersecurity jobs. And as an exercise, I went through that, and it lays out the knowledge, skills, and abilities. As an exercise, I went through that and just did simple keyword searches on words like legal regulation, law, policy, compliance, privacy, anything that I could think of. And I found the vast majority of these jobs are the jobs you're going to have. There was only one job that required a law degree. And yet I found this pervasive through the KSA's knowledge, skills, and abilities they expect one to have in the cybersecurity workforce. So privacy is something you must be concerned with. The law ethics, all of this, and how it is implemented on a daily process, how you monitor for it, how when things go wrong, there are consequences. All right, and that takes into user actions, that takes into how you handle data breaches, and you can't pass the buck. It kind of stops here. It stops every time you put your fingers on the keyboard. It's the kind of paradigm you have to have. That ends our discussion on privacy and our textbook. Please email me if you have any questions. Be back with you soon.